It's an open secret, we've all heard it, but finally the Pakistan foreign minister admits that the army is more powerful than the civilian government in her country. Hina Rabbani Khar made the admission while discussing the fallout of the Memogate controversy in an interview to BBC World. Take a look.
You're saying you'd like it to stop there, but we don't have any of the answers yet. We don't yet know who wrote that memo. We don't yet know if President Zardari asked for it to be delivered.
First of all, it is not yet clear and that Mr. Hussain Haqqani, Pakistan's ambassador, ex-ambassador to Washington, himself had any role to play in it.
So why was he asked to resign?
He was asked to resign so the inquiry process could be transparent and it could be without any, it could be a transparent process, and I think that is something that should be appreciated.
But do you accept that in the eyes of many people internationally, this affair has raised more questions about the strength of the civilian government and has created the impression, at least, that the army is still pulling the levers of power here?
That sadly it does. I cannot deny that, and that's an unfortunate part, that something as ludicrous as this could raise more questions.
Well, who would you say has the upper hand here now, the civilian government or the army? Because to many it still looks like the army has the upper hand.
Look, we always say that this is an evolutionary process, right? You cannot change things overnight. The army has had a larger-than-life role to play in Pakistan, in Pakistan's history. However, you do have a democratic setup.
Can President Zardari survive if his fingerprints are found to be anywhere near this memo?
I cannot even answer that question because I think it is ridiculous to be able to associate him with this particular memo.
Many would say Pakistan is the author of its own misfortune. It has played a double game. It has nurtured some militant groups while going after others.
Pakistan is hostage to a game which was played, which had many authors, which had many players, which included many powers that are in the world today. And yes, we were the playground, so we continue to be festered by it. So if that is our fault in all of that, then yes, you might be right.
But people are worried, Minister, about Pakistan being the playground today. Your own former National Security Advisor, Mahmoud Durrani, has said to me, and I'm quoting from him, everybody who is anybody in terrorism is in North Waziristan.
Yes, but what gave them the place to come in the first place?
But
what
why
I'm
do
saying
they still have it? I think the question is,
and we are still working against them. And why do you think we have the capacity which is more than that of the US and all the ISAF forces, etc. combined? Why do you think we are, as one single country, able to achieve more results than all those other countries on the other side of the border?
But we haven't
and
seen
if things were that hunky-dory on the other side of the border, then maybe you could blame Pakistan.
Minister, the Americans are very anxious for Pakistan to use its influence with the Haqqani network. Now, one meeting was already brokered over the summer by the ISI. Is Pakistan in a position to deliver a second meeting? Are there contacts taking place now?
Pakistan cannot guarantee anything. We have said this very clearly. But what we can play a positive role, but it has to be at the request of the Afghans.
Have any meetings taken place with envoys from the Haqqani group since that meeting in the summer?
The one meeting had taken place which came out, but beyond that, no.
No meetings, or no meetings you know of?
No meetings.
Some in the US Congress want to cut off aid to Pakistan if there is no military action against the Haqqanis. Are you worried about that risk?
No, I'm not worried about that risk. Let me just clearly say that, because I think we project the dependency syndrome of Pakistan on US assistance.
So you could do without it?
We could do without it. And, if the feeling in the US Congress is that we have done too much for Pakistan, the feeling in the Pakistani parliament is that you have done too less.